Welcome to another edition of On My Couch. My co-host Sue and I, we created this vidcast because we wanted to talk to really interesting people about interesting topics, learn a little bit more, and then hopefully bring it to life either in our professional life, but also in our personal life as well. The intent is just to have a really good conversation. The metaphor being we're all on our respective couches. To introduce myself, my name's Damien. I'm the owner of OMC Group, and what OMC Group does is we work with individuals and teams and organisations to work better together. We do that through leadership and strategy and team effectiveness. So that's sort of the what we do, but the why we do is actually because we want to help people work better together. Sue, maybe introduce yourself.
Thanks, Damien. So I work with Damien as well, and my portfolio career allows me to participate on a number of boards and also do consulting in marketing and strategy work. So very varied career, and really looking forward to our conversation this morning.
And today's actually history making, Sue, for our On My Couch. Because we'll get our first returning guest. So, Victoria, welcome back. You were on our respective couches over a year ago, and it was such a great story. And there were so many great stories that I think it was actually Sue that suggested that we get you back. So today you're making history, Victoria. You are second return guest, our first return guest on our couch. So why did you want to get Vic back? What resonated?
So when we do these, Damien, you often say we've got so many more questions to ask. We could spend a lot more time talking. Yep. And absolutely, this is one of those. This was as you say, episode 5, where we went. I could have kept listening to Victoria all afternoon about her story. So I thought it was a great opportunity just to do a little bit of a recap about your own personal story, which is incredibly inspiring. But then what you've chosen to do with your own personal experience and how you've then, I suppose, sharing that with the world and the difference that you're making across the world in the things that you're doing today. So that was my motivation. So I think we're in for a cracking 30 minutes.
Great. And Vic, just to cover off and you can add to this, right? But you're CEO and change maker of People Stories, which is a charity based in Cambodia. But prior to that, you're senior manager culture and diversity at Combag, CGU Insurance, so senior HR roles at NAB as well. And you and I have worked together at 2 organisations, which is good for both of us. So and now we're doing some work with People Stories. So welcome back, and maybe just sort of start off and just tell us a little bit more about People Stories.
Wow. First of all, thank you so much. I feel so honored to be your repeated guest and making a record. So that's absolutely awesome. And thank you for the opportunity to later on share even a little bit more about my stories, personal stories, and the stories I've encountered, in Cambodia in the last 7 years. People Stories Charity is a very purpose-driven organization. Our mission is very simple. We are here to help children go to school. So did you know that 1 in 5 of children in rural Cambodia tend to drop out from school, roughly at the age of 12, 13? And of course, you immediately will ask questions of why do they drop out of school? So it's a combination of a lot of reasons, some social issues and then educational problems, and all stem from poverty. So because the family could not really afford to send them to school, instead, they send them to maybe a construction site to work for a day and get about $6 or $7 US to bring home, to feed the rest of the family. We run 2 programs. We started in 2017, and we run 2 programs, and both programs are serving our mission, which is, transforming life through education and giving those children, the basic right to have quality education. The first program is called School for Life. It is a scholarship program, and it supports all those poor students in our villages to go to school. Not just to go to school, but we also support them ongoing for after-school coaching lessons. So we're very, very excited this year. We're sponsoring 180 children and the family, to get on with getting education. And with School for Life, we also have part of it is a second tier program, which is called STEM for Girls. And to striking a greater balance of gender equality in the villages. And we are supporting a small group of talented girls to relocate them to the capital city and attend a very high quality STEM school. And even more excited, last year we got three of the girls graduated.
Wow.
From the STEM high school with a scholarship, and two of them are now continue in university with scholarships. And one of them actually is taking a gap year and working through her way, saving some money for next year university. So they're all on a very, very exciting, a brighter path. And the second program was inspired by COVID. During COVID, many of the children, not just in Cambodia, the rest of the world, they could not go to school. And the idea was, if children could not come to school, why don't we bring the school to them? So it just so happened someone abandoned a tuk-tuk and we took it on, we converted into a trailer. There's a little bit of design thinking applied to this project. We came up with a pop-up school. And since then, the tuk-tuk is carrying more than 50 laptops, going to different government schools and villages, and then offering digital learning to the children. The first 12 months, we deliver 15,000 digital learning hours to around 700 children. And the tuk-tuk is running even more busy these days because we are offering 4 different courses, to the children. So I'm very excited. The corporate life in Australia served me really well, gave me lots of skills and expertise, but more importantly, it has actually given me a platform to meet a lot of wonderful human beings like yourself. The human connection is really something that I very much enjoy and aspire to. And that's probably coincide with my motivation for, supporting people's stories.
Right.
So Vic, our theme for today is thriving through resilience. So can you tell us some stories about how you've seen how people's stories have helped people thrive through resilience?
Sure. I actually love storytelling, and I think every single person in this world should have a bit of a skills of storytelling. That's actually including my 4-year-old godson, and he is a great storyteller when he wants something. There are a couple of students that I actually took away a lot, actually, even for my own learning. So the first one, her name is Ressa. So she was on a scholarship for some time, but during COVID, we couldn't find her. She ran away from home. At that age, she was only about 14 years old. And we couldn't find her. But after, talking to friends and everything, and then about 6 months later, she turned up. She came back home, but she came back home with a boy and also being pregnant. Underage marriage is not unusual in Cambodia. So the parents support them. So she quit school. The boy also quit school. And the two lived together. And the boy had to actually start working at a construction site for about $7 a day to feed his soon-to-be, a bigger family. Unfortunately, 3 months before the child was born, the baby was born, the boy actually had an accident at the construction. He fell down and he died on impact. So at the age of 15, Rexa became a widow and carrying a baby, and which is due. And she moved back to home. She gave birth to a beautiful little baby girl. During that time, I tried to reach out to Rexa multiple times and want to see her, but she didn't want to see me. So for some reason, a good reason, so she was managing her life. But after the baby was born and I got to see her, and we just, girls talking about breastfeeding, the sleepless nights, and how to, nurse the baby, all that kind of girls talk. But right at the end, we spoke, and I asked Rexa, so you are only 15, 16 years old. If you can live up to 100 years old, you still got about 84 years in your life. What are you going to do, Rexa? What would you like to do? And that's when she looked straight to my eyes and she said, teacher, I want to go back to school. And that moment, it just go, wow, I've done Victoria for diversity. You've done so many return to work programs, to help ladies, coming back to school, to work. Never was a time I have to use the same skills, but for return to school. So we worked through a lot of challenges, including it's actually not acceptable in Cambodia once you have a baby to return to school. So we broke a lot of traditions, but along the way, we got a lot of help. So in the end, we put her back to high school. And guess what? This year, the baby girl is turning 2 and Rexa is going to graduate from high school. So to me, this is amazing, the human strength. And what I see the qualities in Rexa is a couple of things. Number one, she doesn't sit there and wait for change to happen to her. She always step up to lead change. So that's the hunger for change is absolutely very, very strong to me. And I take a lot of learning from that. And the second one, I think is no surprise, resilience and hard work. It's not easy to have a toddler at home, a baby at home, while you still have to go for, full studies. And then this year, there are a lot of public examinations for her. So it's absolutely not easy. Plus, her family doesn't have a lot. She comes from a poor family background. So with that, even actually very challenging for her. But finally, I also feel there's a sense of hope. So in the beginning, she didn't want me to go and see her. But the moment when I got in, we start connecting. The human connection was there. And the sense of hope is really actually pull her through. And I always actually share with my friends and families. And often they ask me, Vic, why are you doing this? Cambodia is not even your birth country, and it's not, Australia, you didn't grow up in there. But I feel the sense of hope has no boundary. It travels so wide and is so powerful. And it is about the sense of hope they grabs on and then pull them through. And then no matter how hard it is, and I feel those children actually are my teachers. They show me a lot.
So I know you and Damien are working on an immersion program that incorporates this concept of thriving through resilience and how to help people think about their own legacy. But how have you thrived through resilience, and what have you learned through your own experiences?
Well, so to be honest with you, sometimes I sit and then I look back when I was young, still teenager in Hong Kong. I never thought life could be hard. The only version of life is, sailing through, only good things will happen to people. But of course, that's not true. I have my surf of, I call them lemons, actually. So when the lemons hit you in life, and do you, squeeze through, or do you actually suck it up and go? So the first actually really challenging time in my life was moving to Australia. I was only about 18 at that time, and then going to a country with no friends and family. And I came from a working class family. The family didn't give me any money to go abroad. I was lucky enough to have a scholarship. So the fee for the education was taken care of, but I had to work 3 jobs as a young girl in a foreign country to make my living. And I still remember in the beginning, I couldn't really understand the Australian accent. It was so tough, and then the culture, and totally look Asian, coming in with a strong Asian accent. I was not that accepted in a way. So it was not an easy time. I still remember the time I had living in Camberwell, which everywhere I go is just, no one looked like me. So it was a tough time. And then later in life, I was a single parent for 15 years. Again, no family support because my family was all in Hong Kong, and I was on my own bringing up Teddy. It is my joy, to bring him up, but I have to say there were lots and lots of tough moments. So of course I cried a lot, and I pick up really bad habits, you know, try to stay alive, including drinking black coffee, which, you know, as a Chinese, we only drink tea, but I learned how to drink coffee. And actually that was a bad start. So I can't get rid of coffee now. And a bit later, sorry.
No, go on. Sorry, go on. Just
Cool.
laughing about the black coffee because I drink black coffee all the time. Yeah.
Yeah. In the beginning, I was actually wondering, why would people drink this? This is so bitter. It's terrible. But I want to be cool, so I drink it. So I thought at that time, I was a very young girl. You know, I was on my own in Australia with a young boy and helping him to grow up with no support. And it was tough. At the same time, I was trying to look after my career, because if my career take off, I can bring home a little bit more money. So then I can look after my son better. So he can go to, you know, after school training on swimming and coaching on soccer, you know, all that kind of things that he likes. But it was a tough time. But life doesn't stop. There were more lemons on my way. So I faced the first time with cancer about 15 years ago. And Teddy at the time was still just finished primary school. And then the second time came just 2 years after that. And he was in high school then. And then the third time came. There was just a few more years after that. So during those 3 rounds of cancer, I did ask myself a lot of questions. And also there were moments of time that I was in depression. I cry a lot. And this time it's not black coffee. I even tried to smoke cigarettes, you know, and things that you do, you know, to cope with the environment and situation. But all those life experiences in the lemons taught me so well, so well. There were a couple of things that I look back, what I did well, and what is my gold nuggets. Number one is about purpose. Every single challenges in life, I always have a vision for the future. So for, you know, studying, I know I want to get into university. So that was my purpose, working so hard to get the money so I can go to university. Excuse me. And being a single parent, there was only one thing, was Teddy. There was one person, it was all Teddy. So I was serving a purpose to bring him up and give him a fair go. And then with the cancer, part of it also is about Teddy, you know, because he was still at school. But more to it, I will start shifting, what about me? You know, I actually want to leave. I want to leave. I don't want to go yet. I don't want to have any negative thoughts. I want to think positive and do positive things that I won't have any regrets in my life. So I started doing a lot of things that I enjoy. And during my third round of cancer, that's when I decided to say goodbye to the corporate world and started on my journey in volunteering and serving others. And 7 years on, so being purposeful is something that I'm very precious about. And I feel there's a lot of power in that. And to couple with the level of resilience, you know, and I feel those are the 2 things that got me through those difficult times in life.
And you and Damien are working on a program. So do you want to talk about that, you or Damien, about the Horizons program and what that looks like?
Great. Can I just jump in? You know, the 2 things about the purposeful and resilience and got me and Damien, actually, I went back to Damien and I said, this is really powerful. And we spent some time, some years to research on something called Dharma. If you're not familiar with Dharma, I always call is a little sister of karma. So karma is about doing something good. Hopefully we get something good back. But Dharma is a very old wisdom and philosophy about how do you serve your family, and how do you serve your community and country. And we are fascinated with the power of Dharma, and we couple Dharma with leadership and how it can actually help a lot of senior leaders be even wiser with their roles. So there's a couple of things from Dharma philosophy that really actually kind of resonate with me when I was going through all the adversity in life. The number one is about authenticity. We need to know who we are. Why are we here? You know, do I like this? Do I not like this? You know, have a really deep understanding who you are. And what you said before, Sue, your legacy. You know, I have come across so many friends in the corporate world as senior leaders. At a certain stage in life, they will stop, they will ask, what is next? What am I supposed to do next? I've reached a certain level. What will be my legacy? What is my leadership narrative? So I'm so excited, you know, to get to learn even more about the Dharma leadership. And I do feel there's a lot of power in there. Would love to share. And Damien, do you want to talk a little bit more about what we have been doing?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I'm really looking forward to it. And it has been a bit of a, you know, a process of discovery. And in some ways, actually, that's what we're trying to create through the Horizons program as well. So it's, you know, as Vic talked about, it's really about what we're trying to do is to create an opportunity, create an environment for people to actually get out of what they're doing and actually have an immersive experience. So really take us out of where we are today in a really nice, comfortable setting, surrounded by things that are familiar with us. And so hence it's a 6-day program in Cambodia. It's a unique integration of, you know, Cambodian heritage and experience, but also as Vic has talked about, leveraging the wisdom of Dharma, but also then applying that to some of the challenges that we have and challenges that we face. And I think we all work with different people in different, you know, organizations. And certainly, you know, what Vic just said resonated with me. There's a number of conversations I have with leaders and leadership teams around, hey, what's our purpose? You know, what are we trying to achieve here? What's the outcome? And pretty much in every workshop that I do with leaders, I ask that question: what's your legacy? You know, what's the impact that you want to have? What do you want people to be saying about you? And what's going to give you? What's going to make you feel good? And so, the Horizons program is really an opportunity for people to, you know, come away and actually really sort of, you know, think about what their legacy is. It's a pretty unique experience, you know, thanks to Vic and the team at People Stories. You know, it's an immersion experience, so we will respectfully visit the killing fields. There's a unique homestay experience where participants get the opportunity to go and actually experience what it's like to be in Cambodia. Some guided leadership and reflection sessions, and also some mindfulness built into it. So that's sort of the what we're doing, but it's more importantly about the why, which is what Victoria talked about, which is actually helping people think about your purpose, really, you know, taking people out of today's environment and invest in themselves to reflect and to a certain extent, you know, do what Victoria is demonstrating, which is actually, you know, live that purpose on a day-to-day basis. So we're aiming to do it sort of late November, early December. We'll share some more information, but that's in a nutshell, that's the program that we're doing. And Vic, I mean, I suppose the question back to you was, I mean, this was your idea and your concept. What made you think that this type of program might actually be helpful and be beneficial to others?
Yeah, that's a great question. Damo, you and I actually have delivered so many workshops, so together and separately. You know, we have helped so many leaders, you know, and rising. And that's all in a very comfortable setting back in Australia, you know. So classroom learning has its own place. Mm-hmm. But with my 7 years in Cambodia, I feel, you know, feeling it, seeing it, and experiencing it is far more powerful than try to imagine what that is. So I have been very lucky to have 7 years and going into the villages of Cambodia and in Siem Reap And I have witnessed so many, stories and conversations that I had with people that I draw a lot of learning from it. So I think that it is a very great opportunity for us to combine our solid leadership capability training, but offer a direct experience to have a look and a feel and live like a local in Cambodia that a lot of other organizations would not be able to offer. So I feel that this is a good opportunity for me and you to offer this to a lot of those senior leaders in Australia to have experience immersions in the villages.
And one thing I didn't talk about, sorry, Sue, I know you're about to jump in, but one of the things we didn't talk about, Vic, was the other, the benefit. So there's a cost in terms of participating in the program, but all of the all of the profits, for want of a better phrase. So both Vic and I are volunteering our time. So all of what the other output of this program is it's actually making an impact in terms of people's stories, and so the profits then go back to and to help Vic and the team do the great work that they do in Cambodia as well. So that's I've just realised I didn't mention that before, Vic.
Yeah, exactly. That's actually one of the again, is being purposeful. I'm grateful for Damien to offer your skills and expertise and time, and traveling over to Cambodia to help me to deliver this program. So both of us actually are very giving to this program, and every single paid participant will bring in 5 full scholarship for a child for the full year. Because we kept our cost low, and we're all doing pro bono kind of work for people's story. And 5 children's scholarship per each participant. So that's a big thing, right?
That's sensational.
That's great. And that brings it back to something that people can, I suppose, imagine and walk away going, I feel like I've contributed, aside from their own personal growth and development that they will get out of it as well. But you're also coming back to Australia in August, and you've got events in Sydney and Melbourne. Now I've already gone down to go to the event in Sydney. So who are their guests? What are their stories? And how do we connect with this theme that we've been talking about?
Well, first of all, Damien will be the MC, so you will all get to see him. And
despite that, people should still come, though. People still come.
You are the reason. You are the reason. Yeah, and Damien has been very generous and giving us again time and skills, but not only in Melbourne, where it's near his home, but also he's going to come to Sydney, to host that event for us. And on the panel, so there are a number of really good friends and inspiring speakers. So Regina Worth, we worked together at CBA. She was a general manager of L&D for the retail bank. And after that, she has set up her consulting business called Switch, and she is the master of change management. So she will be able to share some of her experience in working with change. But more interestingly, Regina has a very, very touching personal story to tell, and she's giving a new definition of motherhood. So that would be something that I'm really looking forward to hear more. And the second person is Neil Hay. Neil actually was the president of the Rebels of Rugby. What is very fascinating about Neil, besides he also came from a working class family, but he moved from UK all the way to Australia, fell in love, and make his life here in Australia. But also a huge change maker for diversity. So he established the gay rugby team and even actually won one of the World Cup, and also wheelchair rugby and also women rugby. So it'll be great to hear from him, going into the minority sports kind of teams. How does he strive, through all the hurdles and then bring in the championship? And finally, but not least, Donna Worthington. Donna will be joining us in Sydney. Again, Donna and I worked at CBA together, but not from the same kind of area of work. But we were both passionate about cultural diversity and we actually met each other through some of the events. Donna is a sensational person, always focused on a human connection, and she's a huge believer of storytelling. She was, I think if it's not the first, but it's one of the very few, partners at a law firm was make partner without a law background. Wow. So she specializes in risk management, and it's just an amazing and beautiful person. A lot of life story to share, especially about cultural diversity and equality. So plus myself. So, and we have a very full panel of speakers and sharing a lot of good kind of inspiring stories.
And so Sydney, I think, was the 18th of August. Is that right? And it's
16th of August.
16th of August, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
yes,
so
you go, Vic.
So Melbourne, we are hoping to get together on the 9th of August, which is only about 3 weeks away. So, and it will be a sunset time and with a beautiful view of Yarra River at one of the CBD buildings. And the event is sponsored by Minter Ellison Law Firm. And in Sydney is on the 16th of August, also Friday, so the following Friday. And we will have the gorgeous Sydney Harbour in front of us, enjoying a lot of nice drinks and canapes. There will be some Cambodian items on for auction, and there will be also raffles tickets to try out your luck.
And so, and Vic, if people want to buy tickets, because I know sort of, we're sort of, creating awareness, it's on the People Stories LinkedIn page is the best place to go.
Yeah, well, on LinkedIn and Facebook, but otherwise we can actually, share the URL and the QR code later on too.
Yeah, terrific, cool. And so that's sort of the immediate event, and it's really about that. The theme is thriving through resilience. So really looking forward. I've had the benefit of meeting Neil. He's a great storyteller, and I'm really looking forward to hearing all of the speakers, to be honest, and hearing more about your story, Vic, as well. So. The People Stories 100 Dreams event, so that's in Melbourne and Sydney. We're also working on our Horizons program, so pretty excited about that as well, and bringing that to life later on this year as well. So again, we could probably keep on going with Vic because there's so many great stories. But what's your takeaway from today's conversation?
I thought, the point that you made is about anchor your energy and purpose. I think people get busy and there's this concept of busyness and you're always busy. But I think if you stood back, my takeaway was that anchor your energy and purpose. And I thought that's a really great way of just sort of clearing the decks and thinking about why and what's my purpose. So that was my big takeaway. So thank you, Victoria. I always get something out of these conversations.
Cool. Vic, any final comments from you before I wrap up?
I just actually being so thankful for all this beautiful human connection. And sometimes when I sit in a little room and I think I'm only one person, how can I actually do so much? And how can I help some other people? And how can I help the world? Yeah. My answer for everyone is, yes, you can. All you have to do is to go and reach out. Whatever cause you want to support, take the first step, go and reach out to have a conversation and let the journey unfold. You'll be amazed how beautiful life can be.
Vic, that's awesome. What a great way to end. So thank you so much. Look forward to seeing you live in Australia in a couple of weeks' time. That's going to be pretty exciting. Thank you so much for today, Sue. Thank you for your time again. And Sue and I look forward to our next episode of On My Couch. In the meantime, I've talked about IMC Group right at the start. What we do is we help people work better together. So if you want to learn more about what we do, have a look at our website, which is IMC Group. So imc-group.com.au. But Sue, Vic, thank you very much and have a great day.
Thanks.
Thank you, Agun.